Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take your complete stack of sources, research, and notes and distill them into the absolute essentials you need to be well-informed. Today, we're doing a deep dive into what looks like a really significant fixture in local community philanthropy. We're talking about the 6th annual Kappa Alpha Psi Scholarship Breakfast, hosted by the Troy Alumni Chapter.
Exactly. And this dive is, it's crucial because we aren't just giving you a date and a time. Our mission is to really lay out the full, highly detailed operational blueprint of the scholarship program this event supports. We're getting into the granular details, who's eligible, what the deadlines are, and they are strict, and maybe most importantly, how the funds are specifically divided up across Pike County high schools.
Right, because our sources make it so clear that this is more than just a fundraiser. It's a community cornerstone, and this year's event in particular is expected to be a massive draw. That urgency means you really need these details now. So let's jump right in. Let's start with the hard logistics for the breakfast itself.
Okay, let's do it. So the event is the 6th annual Kappa Alpha Psi Scholarship Breakfast. It's set for Saturday, January 31st, 2026. And the sources emphasize a prompt 9 a.m. start time.
And the location is the Trojan Center, right on the campus of Troy University. But the reason for all the buzz, the reason our sources are really stressing the urgency, is the featured speaker. It's Chancellor Dr. Jack Hawkins of Troy University.
And that's the key. Dr. Hawkins' involvement, it transforms this from a local event into a really high-profile, must-attend gathering. His presence is a powerful endorsement of the fraternity's work, and it basically signals that this is tied to the highest levels of leadership in the region. That's why getting your tickets early isn't just a suggestion. It's pretty much a necessity.
And for an event of this caliber, the cost is remarkably accessible. Just $25 secures your seat. The sources explicitly say, attendees are strongly encouraged to act fast, and that Pole March Alvin Tucker will personally contact people to secure their seats.
It's worth pausing on that title for a second, Pole March. For anyone unfamiliar with the fraternity structure, the Pole March is essentially the highest officer of the Alumni Chapter. Think of it like a president or a chairperson. So the person leading the follow-up, Pole March Alvin Tucker, is the executive head of the whole local organization.
That really underscores the seriousness of it all, doesn't it? And what if you're a business or an individual and you want to support the mission, but you just can't make it to the breakfast on the 31st?
Right. There's a clear alternative for that. The souvenir booklet. The booklet offers a structured way to place program ads, and this is a really critical dual path for philanthropy and visibility. You can congratulate the fraternity, show your support, and at the same time, you're showcasing your own business or commitment to the county. It's a huge part of their fundraising strategy.
And since we brought up Pole March Tucker, the sources give this really compelling personal detail. He's noted as a proud graduate of Goshen High School.
And that fact is so grounding. Goshen High School is one of the schools directly benefiting from this scholarship program. When the organization is led by someone who's, walked the same hallways as the students they're now trying to help, it just reinforces the sincerity of the whole mission. It's a powerful local story.
That personal connection is the perfect pivot, actually, to our next segment. Let's dive into the scholarship program itself, the heart of this whole thing. And the scope of opportunity here is surprisingly broad. That flexibility is a major takeaway.
It really is. The core mission is to provide financial help exclusively to graduating high school seniors who attend any high school, public or private, within Pike County.
And there's a specific proactive request aimed right at educators, principals, counselors, all the staff. They're asked to share this info widely, and not just with seniors, but with juniors too. So why the juniors? What's the thinking there?
It's all about preparation. By telling the juniors now, the chapter gives them a whole year to make sure they can meet the minimum requirements. Things like maintaining that specific 3.0 GPA or thinking about what activities will lead to strong recommendation letters. It shows a real long-term investment in the students.
And that investment translates into a pretty significant award for the students who get selected. We're talking about a one-time scholarship of $2,000. Now, when people hear scholarship, they usually assume it's for a traditional 4-year university. But this is where the program gets really interesting.
This flexibility is probably the most fascinating part of the entire program. Yes, the first option is attending Troy University, naturally. But the program covers any state of Alabama certified or recognized post-secondary opportunity. It moves way beyond the standard academic degree path.
So we're talking about junior colleges, yes, but also a very deliberate investment in things like vocational schools, trade schools, technical schools, even certified apprenticeships.
Exactly, and that speaks volumes about the organization's understanding of the modern workforce needs in that region. Not every successful career path requires a four-year degree. Often, these vocational and trade programs offer a much faster, higher return on investment, especially in technical fields. By funding these paths, they're strategically aligning their charity with, actual economic realities.
It's a targeted investment in actual skills. So you, the learner, should really note that. This structure acknowledges and validates all the different ways you can find success after high school.
And while $2,000 is a one-time award for a vocational or trade program, that amount can be life-changing. It could cover tools, a semester's tuition, materials for an apprenticeship. It can be the thing that bridges that gap between just being interested and actually enrolling.
Good point. And before we move on, there's a quick funding note. Donors can actually designate their funds to be used exclusively at a specific school if they want, which allows for, highly personalized giving within the county.
Right. It gives contributors that satisfaction of knowing exactly which corner of their community they're directly impacting.
Okay, let's pivot now to the really precise details, the allocation of the scholarships and the extremely strict application rules. This is where it gets competitive.
It does. A total of 8 scholarships will be awarded at the breakfast on January 31st. And understanding how those 8 are distributed across the 5 high schools is absolutely critical for any applicant or educator.
And there's a clear split in how they're allocated, which is worth talking about. First, you have Pike Liberal Arts School and New Life Christian Academy. These 2 schools get 1 scholarship each. And the recipient can be male or female. It's just an open slot based on merit.
Right. Then you have the second category, Charles Henderson High School, Goshen High School, and Pike County High School. These 3 schools each get 2 scholarships. But here's the mandate. 1 scholarship must go to a male senior, and 1 must go to a female senior.
That is a fascinating choice. Why do you think the sources specify a strict male-female split for the 3 larger public schools, but leave it open at the other 2?
Well, it suggests a really strategic intent by the fraternity. They seem to be trying to ensure gender parity at the largest schools in the county, which is likely where they expect the most applications. By mandating 1 of each, they guarantee the award's impact is distributed equally across male and female students graduating from the county's biggest institutions. The open slot at the smaller schools might be a way to just pick the single strongest applicant, regardless of gender, since the applicant pool might be smaller. It's a very engineered approach to equity.
That structural rigor is definitely matched by the rigor of the application requirements. What are the minimums? What does every single applicant need to have?
There are 3 core components: a minimum 3.0 cumulative GPA, letters of recommendation, and a written essay. These are merit-based awards, so they're looking for well-rounded, high-achieving seniors. The GPA sets the academic floor, but the essay and recommendations let them look at character and potential.
And then there's the most dangerous detail of all, the deadline. Students need to circle this one. Application packets must be postmarked or physically received no later than Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. A hard end-of-the-year deadline. No wiggle room.
And the submission checklist is completely non-negotiable. This is where, honestly, meticulous attention to detail is going to separate successful applicants from the ones who get disqualified immediately.
Okay, walk us through that. What documents are absolutely mandatory?
The packet has to have the completed scholarship application, the essay instruction form, and every single thing listed on the scholarship application checklist. And on top of that, applicants have to submit 1 original copy and 1 complete copy of the whole packet, plus an official transcript.
Wow, okay. So double the paperwork. And our sources have a stark warning here. An incomplete packet may result in the student not being considered at all. This isn't just bureaucracy, is it? It's a test.
It's absolutely a test. It's the committee vetting candidates who can follow detailed instructions, a critical skill for college or an apprenticeship. Given the number of applications they're probably expecting, they use these rules as a first filter. If you're missing an essay or you only send 1 copy instead of 2, you risk being eliminated right away. Double-check everything before that December 31st deadline.
To make it easier, though, the application and essay forms are available for download on the chapter's website. That's https://www.troyalumnicappa.com. And they encourage people to make copies freely.
And once that deadline passes, students aren't left waiting for ages. The timeline is tight. They say students will be notified of the committee's decisions just 2 weeks after the deadline. That's a fast turnaround.
It is. Okay, that brings us to our final segment, how the money actually gets paid out and the crucial contact information.
Yes, and this is so important for the winners. The $2,000 award is paid directly to Troy University or the other eligible institution. The check is not cut to the student.
Which serves as a great safeguard, right? It ensures the money is used strictly for educational expenses. The recipient doesn't get cash, they get a guaranteed payment towards their enrollment.
But the recipient does have a key responsibility. The sources note it is the scholarship recipient's job to make sure enrollment confirmation is provided to the Troy Alumni chapter before the funds are dispersed. No proof of enrollment, no payment to the school. The ball is in the student's court to finish the last step.
And as we've detailed this whole process, it's clear the organizers expect a lot of questions. So they've provided a few ways to get in touch.
That's right. First, you can call Mr. Atwan Linham at 334-782-3391, or you can call Mr. Jerome Solomon at 313-522-3135. Providing two different contacts suggests they're ready for a lot of outreach.
And there's also an official email for written questions, which is often better for, confirming if your packet was received or asking complex questions. That email is troyalumnicommunityoutreach@gmail.com.
So if we pull it all together, we've basically covered the entire life cycle of this philanthropy. From the high-profile, likely sold-out breakfast with Chancellor Hawkins, down to the really specific, rigorous requirements for those 8 $2,000 awards that support everything from a university path to a certified apprenticeship.
It's a remarkable document of local strategic investment. The blueprint is so clear. Merit-based awards, strict deadlines, funding for vocational tracks, and that highly specific allocation designed to ensure representation across Pike County.
That allocation scheme is definitely the most provocative detail. That mandated gender split for the larger schools, one male, one female, versus an open competition at the smaller ones.
Right. So as you take all this information in, think about the level of strategy that goes into designing a local scholarship. The organizers aren't just handing out money, they're actively, engineering the outcome. The specific tailoring of who gets what, whether they're prioritizing parity or just the single strongest applicant, it's a window into how local groups maximize the impact of their charitable dollars.
So consider this. When a local organization puts such a fine point on who gets the money, what subtle but powerful messages are they sending about the future workforce and educational priorities for their entire region? It's a fascinating question of local policy, sort of disguised as philanthropy.